Hello and a warm welcome back, everyone. This is Hambbage, and I'm thrilled to have you guys back here in the channel watching a few recorded hardcore vanilla Minecraft plays. That's what we're gonna do again today here. Um, so let's get this slide out of the way, and get things going. That's number wang. Yeah. All right. I'm kind of bummed, man. One of my favorite of the little splash screen titles is the Be Anti-Racist because seriously, I mean, not that anybody should need to be told that at this point. It's kind of a no-brainer, but it's a good one to, it's kind of like don't worry, be happy or anything. It's a good one to start your day with and would have been a nice sentiment. And it was up there. I was all ready to go. And then I remembered that I had taken the headphone mic set out of the laptop yesterday. I was watching some stuff and wanted audio, not wearing a headset, and obviously that's the way you get that done. Unfortunately, hey Guava, unfortunately, for whatever reason, if you launch Minecraft and then plug in my headset, oh, it's nighttime. Um, yeah, it never picks up the audio. It just stays silent. Hey, Salty, what's up, buddy? Let's get a quick nap so we can go say hi to some more. So yeah, I had to close the game out, plug in the headset, relaunch, and we got that's number wang instead. Which yeah, I'm sure that means something to somebody. Not much to me though. Ooh, we just got a level. Yay, yes. Back up to 60. Did we get to level 70 before? I can't quite remember. Hey, Smart, there's a lot of bad guys around, so I'm going to go quick, but it's good to see you. Bye. All right, so what's on tap for today? We are going to have a reckoning. That's just like out of the movie The Tombstone. That was the one, I believe. It's a reckoning. Um, and I think the best way to do so, honestly, I don't even know. I don't think we need to do any of this extra stuff. We're going to take many torches as we can. And this time, let's do some dirt. Let's put you back in here. Our torches and all are topped off. We have our totem in our hand. Yeah, so let's get going. Try to rectify something that now, man, it's probably about 10 episodes ago. Uh, we made a catastrophic mistake, and we need to make amends. We need to correct that. So it's the goal now. So yeah, just zigzag a little bit in case he followed and wanted to shoot a crossbow. Yeah, that seems slow. Why? All right, yeah, we're going to the end. We're going to attempt to replace and further our supply of shulker boxes on today's episode. I think that's a good way to get going here. We won't just drop into our Enderman killing factory. Again, if we can avoid it, it's actually kind of nice to just um, use the farm, use the nether quartz and all those kind of things. But you know, the farm never really goes away unless it's just not ready to harvest. Um, but oh, can rectify this quickly. Again, I think there's something like with pistons or somehow that you can force yourself to be one block high and go through those. I don't know what that is. Um, but yeah, we can do that. Plenty of ease. Um, hmm, whatever I was going to say. Um, oh yeah, the XP. Um, so I definitely like having. Ooh, I definitely like having the flexibility. So last time, clearly we went that way. Let's just pull up the. So we went south and kind of wiggled back and forth a little bit in that direction to get to the cities that we could see. In this run, let's just try going the opposite. I know we kind of explored this first island that we'd been on when we first came through. We weren't particularly geared up. Didn't have a lot of stuff. Since we're here, and I think we're gonna need to do a fair bit of bridging. Let's go and do this. We may very quickly go through the dirt that we've got. Yeah, we'll just try, I guess, heading west mostly, and see how that plays for us. So now we've kind of seen all there is to see in terms of the content of the end. It's cool. It's very dangerous in certain ways, but it does become a bit. I want to say repetitive, although it truly is. Maybe not. Maybe it's routine that I don't want to say, because you never want to let your guard down too much. You're kind of out there hanging over the void, and one oops is all it takes. In the nether, we can do this, and if things don't go quite right, then oh well, we hop back out of the lava. Things don't go quite right here, we fall a long way, and that's the end of the world. So definitely, definitely a bit more at stake. Nice random little edge of ender stone rock, whatever it is there. These are the ones again that you want to be extra cautious just to make sure that. Oh, oh. That on when you're on those edges, you don't Don't inadvertently look at an Enderman and get his aggro. So here we go. I think we'll kind of hook to the north here to our start. Just because we kind of have it bounded by the big opening that we saw. And of course it's moving away from the direction we had been. And torches do work great. That's why Brang brought some extra to have a little more visibility. Just be aware they can get overlapped a little bit by the time you've made a few runs. Don't just trust that that all these necessarily are joined together or have lower levels there. Make sure you don't just sprint off an edge. Done that. Or come close to it. I don't think I've ever actually lost a world just running, but I've definitely fallen to like land on low on a cliff on the other side. That's enough to get your heart going. As we're going here, we'll kind of keep an eye out and see if there's any of those beacon-like shots of light, and those might indicate, well, they would indicate, they might happen. Those would be other end portals, and while we can't use them coming out here, we can take them back to the center end island with the portal. So ooh, that's a little odd. That sounds like a mine noise, and why that would be in the end, I don't know. I mean, it's Minecraft, right? But there's no. Maybe that would be a cool idea for an update, though. Maybe they could inside some of these islands, they could create some kind of mine features that would explain the old abandoned cities. And this is more what I was expecting when we first got started. Usually, you do more trekking before you find one city, let alone three, like we got. And that's why I didn't want to waste a bunch of time getting started. Just kind of load up and go. Although I really hadn't specifically planned at the end of the last episode that we'd come make this. Going back a few to wherever we first got back home, and we kind of had a do chores type episode where we talked through some possible, rounds of content, what might be coming. Now here, I know this isn't going to connect, and we could boost our site if we really need to at some point, we will. But we're gonna have to run it all anyway. So again, for those that may be wondering, definitely okay with. Well, not really okay with flying. At least at this point. On a day to day basis, flying in the nether is a way that I feel in hardcore is a great way to sell your world for nothing. It That's kind of interesting. It will certainly let you cover ground quickly, but it presents real problems as you're coming into land and trying to check speed and all that kind of stuff that you do kind of circle. And if you happen to catch any Enderman's eye, or they perceive that you do, there's no court of appeals. If they decide, they're going to start punching you. And while you're wearing the wings, you lose the very significant part of your armor that's consists of the chest piece. So, not a good way to go into another fight. And I can already see that torch in the distance. So we're kind of winding around here, and that's where the torches can become a little bit confusing depending on how many you placed and where they all go. Very long range. It's really best to keep your coordinates in mind and just travel towards points, or keep those directions in mind. And that's why I made a point of noting that we were kind of going north and west on this one. So that if we do get lost, I guess that's something I'm pretty sure I already did, but since we haven't been here in a while. End Stronghold Stairs Mansion. Ooh, I don't think I did. Yeah, so that's worth noting. Let's cut across this island, which should get us close back. Just jotting the coordinates of your way back portal is a way to keep it from being just an endless wander. At least for me, I'd already be so turned if there weren't any torches or anything to follow. It doesn't have to be torches either. It can be just blocks of cobble or the dirt that we have. I just find it's nice to have a little bit of the light. That does help in the distance, and it helps to keep us. It just helps to see them from a little bit further away. There's our bridge. So we've already covered, already looped out of our way a lot. Ugh. Yeah. Wow. I tried to get the hand in front of the mic. I was really trying to lift the mic, and I don't know if that happened. So excuse me. That was an unprovoked sneeze. Oh, I didn't consider this, but we do know that Endermen have a propensity for a particular type of block, right? Eee. Let's be careful of that. I did not even consider when I was just grabbing some dirt. Maybe we'll look to get some more of this end stone and use it for the bridges and use the dirt just inside the cities. Assuming we find some more. Okay. Now, this is close enough. And again, I'm not going to bother to put this on screen, but we're just going to call this far end portal number 1. And then I do parentheses. Anything that's in the end or the nether, I put the far coordinates in. Doesn't matter as much for the end, but it does help me just remember that this is different. Ah, that was a yawn. Different portal. All right, save that. Now, worst comes to worst, we get totally turned around and lost. We can just head back. While we're going here, I'm just going to head in this direction with my fingers. I'm going to lift the mic and sip some coffee to fight those yawns. Oh, that is just barely on the cool enough to drink scale. Fresh, still very hot. Awesome. It's relatively early in the morning, and actually, it's not time wise. I just ended up sleeping pretty late, and it was great. I slept so much last night because I went to bed. For me, relatively early. It was right around 10, and then I mean, it's summer. It's a beautiful thing, and while we're not technically into summer yet, um, the birds, try to tell them that. They were again up. It was 4 a.m. this time when one of them was happily singing and woke me up. Thank you. So I kind of feel like, and usually if that happens, I really try to, if at all possible, seize it. Like, okay, yeah, this is nature's way of telling me to go out and do stuff. Um, but yeah, today I think, although it's kind of hazy, but I think I got up and went to the bathroom, had a sip of water, kind of that waking up stuff, and then I think I just rolled back in bed, and that was it for another 4 hours or so. Um, so yeah, I'm very well rested, and got up. Just had like I don't know if you guys do this. It's huge, hugely helpful in my experience. I will often when I first get up, I'll have like just a piece of fruit and some water, something just to kind of get me started for the day. And today is the theme continues. I'm still working on my cherries. It probably will be as long as they're in season. If they're still relatively cheap as they are, because it's a short season and the growers and all want to move them while they're there. So as long as they're available, I'll keep getting the big bags. I think they're great for snacking and like that. As I said, I don't know that I'll be cutting a lot more to put into oatmeal or anything, but we'll see. This is good, knowing that we can come back this way and have some more close big islands. It's good. But yeah, anyway, just wake up, get going early, have just a handful of fruit. Uh, that's usually what I do. Very occasionally, maybe I'll have like a couple of walnuts or some almonds or something too, just to get my body kind of awake and ready to go for the day. All right, this is random, but let's use the proximity here to see what's over on these islands. And again, I do regret that other one is all dirt. I'm not going to just switch it. Maybe if we're going back, we'll trade out some. I think put the apples away. Um, I thought this connected kind of to a chain of islands, but that may have been a big nope. Oh man, what a waste. Go back that way to bridge across to those. That looks like another isolated piece. We just go for the long haul. Oh man, I didn't silence the phone. Looks like a multiple stack kind of crossing. Good to have a couple of our picks fully juiced though. I like that. So yeah, and just to kind of return to the thought. So when whether you're trying to lose weight or just be healthier, um, sleep is a really interesting function of our bodies. I mean, we think about it, like everything sleeps, right? Animals and us, even to some extent, you can say that plants do when between light cycles they rest and recover. It's a natural function seemingly of all life that you need to rest and recover. Now, I don't know on like a single cellular level, like do bacteria and some of those kinds of things function non-stop for their entire life cycle, or do they also have a rhythm of activity and then rest and recovery? No idea. That's just an interesting thought. Had it. Um, so I don't know. What I do know is that once we get through here, we'll be set. So yeah, when you're coming out of sleep, you got to think of it like booting up a computer or something. Not all the processes are running, and it takes a moment to spin up and get all the systems online. It has to do a post check, so it's got to make sure that everything it needs is on board, and then test the system, determine what other devices are attached or not, and kind of configure everything to work as a whole. And same thing goes with your body. After you've been sleeping, your brain has to get back up. Systems like well, your stomach and your glands, for instance. It's why brushing your teeth before you go to bed is such a big deal. You won't be producing saliva in your sleep, so if you have a bunch of sugar and whatever it is, but sugar is really bad for tooth enamel. But if you have that kind of stuff in contact, there won't be anything in your system attempting to clear it naturally. It'll just sit and have all those hours um, to really go to town on your teeth. As that's a chemical process, right? It's not going to rest or slow down or anything like that. So anyway, you when you wake up, all those things take a little bit to get booting. It's why we especially as we get older, it's why we stretch and kind of you know walk a little stiff-legged if you've ever like broken a limb or anything. All those places kind of take a little bit of time because the circulation, everything ratchets up a notch when your muscles and things are going to be moving your body as opposed to just lying still. And that's same goes for your stomach. That's through there. I'll just go right out here, right between you guys. All right, don't steal my little light pedestal here. I know how much you like to. You can take one of the middle blocks if you have to, but let's leave that. All right. So we'll start placing here, and then we can talk more. So yeah, I very often will start my morning, excuse me, with just a little bit of something. Like today, I think I had like 4, maybe 5 cherries, not very much at all, and a glass of water, and that restores the hydration as you breathe, respirate through the night. A lot of times if you got family or brother or sister or whatever, you watch them sleep and then like, they got the mouth kicked open, maybe they drool a bit, and it's kind of silly to see in there. Well, we all do that. Like you look no better when you sleep. Don't think you're the princess and the pea or something, but it's as we do that respiration, we dry out. We're exhaling humid air and it's going out. So that's why you very often will wake up thirsty when you start the day, and will be a little more dehydrated than you would be if you went to bed. That's why it's good to make sure that you don't want to be so overhydrated that you're having disrupted sleep, getting up to pee all night, but you also want to want to make sure that your body has enough fluids, that it's not going to go, really dehydrated. If you go to bed dehydrated and then exhale humidity out of your body all night, you're going to be really dehydrated. You're not going to be, stranded on a desert island, haven't had a sip of water in weeks, kind of in peril, but not optimal either. So, um, so when I wake up, I definitely try to go. You guys may think from the videos and my commentary and all that I go straight for coffee. Not first thing on the list. I definitely want uh, a chance to just give my body just some regular old water to get going. Now I'm trying to scan out here. I don't want to inadvertently go back the way we came, so I think we'll maybe try to get across here next. We could go straight and clip that island, but I don't know. I kind of wonder if that would connect back in. Actually, let's not overthink. And if you're overly concerned, this is kind of overkill for what I often do anyway. But if you're really concerned about finding your way back, put one odd torch. Either just do three, either pointing the way you are going or the way you need to return. Just something to tell you that this is the placement of how these go. And again, this can get more confusing the more you've explored it. If you kind of start going out in your cardinal directions and then have gone in all four and start switching out to other directions, you're going to start overlapping, just by bridging between islands. Like, oh, here's torches. It gets even more complex when you inevitably come across a few portals and start, you know, rarely will you just find overlap in areas you've already looked at the extremities. You'll like come across two torches and you'll have no idea which way they're going. Um, all that can become very muddled. So the good news is, as you discover more and more and more, you'll have more points that you can get to get back home again. So pros and cons to everything, right? Alrighty. A little narrow here, just hug the dirt. All right. So what do we have now? Anything in this distance? Portals or cities? Both could be good. Let's now that we've got a bunch of endstone, let's just keep using that to head outward for a while. More mine sounds. Yeah. How about an ender mine? Just right in the middle of these big islandy masses. A few of them just buried away with. You could put in new kinds of mobs, like an end spider. We had so much fun with the cave spiders to start this world that kind of feels like we should champion their cause, right? More spiders. So after I played yesterday, I watched a couple of old movies that caught my eye and kind of memory lane type stuff. Um, the first was probably the better of the two, especially for my childhood. It was more memorable. Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder in Hear No Evil, See No Evil. Um, I think this was Prime. I was watching stuff last night. Um, and both tremendously funny, both now passed, unfortunately. Uh, Richard Pryor, for even when I was a kid, Richard Pryor had died fairly early on. Gene Wilder went relatively recently, uh, which was too bad. But I don't know in today's kind of climate that you could make a movie like Hear No Evil, See No Evil anymore. It's I talked about Louder Milk as a dark comedy series that did a good job, I thought, of having some comedic actors in hilarious roles that had legitimate handicaps and I don't even think we can say that disabilities, right? They had either physical or mental type challenges that made it more challenging. But their roles in that series were such that there was no hiding of it. There was no. In fact, some of the episodes addressed it very specifically. How they feel for going about their lives, and what is so different from having something that they're in no more control than any of us are about our own strengths and weaknesses, whether it comes to particular subjects or aptitude in school or just dexterity. So that's a gaming type concept a lot of times, but it's very true in real life too. Do you have the fine motor control of your fingers to let's say be a surgeon, right? I mean, that takes there's a lot more than just motor control that goes into it, but the kids game operation reinforces that. Some people are um, very adept at making very controlled and small movements with fingers and hands and everything else. They can manipulate small objects very accurately and precisely. Other people don't do so well at that. But, those people, again, from a gaming sense, they may be big, burly people that can, lift up a 20-pound sledge and break rocks with it for an hour straight and not break a sweat, right? Again, gaming type stuff, but we all have character sheets of our own, if you want to put in that term, and there will be strengths and weaknesses. And, for another contemporary thing where again the actor I don't believe had any actual real life disability was Bran in Game of Thrones, right? He became paralyzed in the course of the story, and that didn't prevent him from having a full story arc, and that's kind of the deal. And with Hear No Evil, See No Evil, you had two people, um, obviously both sighted and hearing, And that's the premise of the story. You know, these two guys that become friends, one blind, one deaf, have misadventures, and all the rest. I won't spoil the plot, but basically they're two comedians anyway, right? This is meant to be lighthearted and funny, and think I think if done right, those communities would still support it. But I think in what that was probably I think it was in the 80s, right? If not the very earliest part of the 90s. I don't know, but well, let's mark this too. I don't know what this tree is doing us any favors. I'll just put it right here. And since we aren't seeing anything, we'll maybe get a little less free with our torches. Um, yeah, today I think it would be better suited to having an actual blind and actual deaf actor playing it out. I don't know if that would be possible. If it would be able to reach the same level. Um, but at least in my childhood, it helped illustrate that look, blind and deaf people have a real desire not to just be treated as cast-offs or broken things that need to be cared for or counted out to, but also, especially if those things happen later in life, they they deal with real mental challenges that they can't do the things that they see. And all right, I hadn't even considered this, but I will hugely plug a book that I grew up with as a kid. My dad had it. It was a book of probably after his childhood. It wouldn't have quite lined up. I don't know how early it came out, but the book is called Reach for the Sky, and it is by an RAF, Royal Air Force, so the British Air Force pilot from World War II, Battle of Britain, and all that good stuff. And his name was Douglas Bader. I don't recall his rank at the end to give him official title, but Douglas Bader was it's kind of his autobiography. So I think he ghost wrote it with somebody, but it was basically a first person account of his life story, starting his childhood and growing up, all the stuff that he did. And he's an athlete. He's a decently good student, but has some real hardships in his life and kind of overcomes them. Gets this kind of, I would call it small man syndrome, and I think he was fairly short in stature anyway, so it kind of fits. But he got this chip on his shoulders. Younger brother, older brother was kind of the doted on one. He was the one that had to kind of scrap and exceed or drove himself to excel in hopes of getting more unfulfilled affection. I think is kind of what he implies himself. Whatever the case, he he's going through the 1930s probably British education system, and at some point he's playing. I suspect it was rugby or something, but he goes to play a game. Maybe it was cricket at uh, an air cadet prep school, and absolutely falls in love with the idea of becoming a pilot. And that becomes his new motivation, is that he wants to be like, and as a little kid, he sees these older students who are probably, in the maybe mid-teens. I don't, again, I don't know. I'm not familiar enough with the background, how the education system worked then or even now, and how they, if it was accounted for even in his writing. So regardless, he finishes up his education, over a number of years, becomes a very good athlete, and kind of, always struggling to make his grades to keep on scholarship because he wasn't particularly affluent, and was going, told his family, hey, I want to get into this flight academy, not academy, I don't know, private school kind of, office. It would be like a ROTC type deal, but for younger kids. I think, hey, there we go. So that was the impression I took away. Um, Big city. We had to wait for it, but that's a good one. All right, we'll just come out here, throw up our marker. Hope we have enough. We should. All right. Well, now it's good story time as we go here. So, uh, life's going along great. He manages to get through school, and his athletic propensity and his real desire to fly and study all that kind of stuff kind of carries him through, and he's gets his appointment or whatever to the RAF when he's out of school. And early on, as kind of the tensions pre-war are building, I think England, along with France and much of the world, is watching Germany and going, "This doesn't look good." They're arming up, the Nazi Party and all that. I don't think much of the world was closely aware of what they were doing in terms of oppression of the Jews and intellectuals, anybody that really opposed to them, were they considered a threat or a scapegoat. But they knew that Germany had disregarded the demilitarization terms of the Treaty of Versailles, which had ended World War One. So uh, Britain, in particular, is watching this and going, "Okay, it's getting close." Well, this young man, Douglas Bader, had already joined, so not too worried about enlistment or what am I going to do if war happens. He's for his since his childhood committed to the idea of a military life. And very early on in his career, he actually has a crash with a training plane and ends up. Hang on one second. Let me rehydrate here. Ends up crashing and ultimately has both of his legs amputated. One, I think, just below and one just above the knee. So he goes from being an incredibly athletic, young, vibrant person with his whole life ahead of him and a big career, and losing both his legs. And this is just, a lot of the story goes through, his own recovery in the hospitals. All he has to do uh, to learn how to wear and use prosthetics, and the uh, the various pieces and parts that go into that. there we go. All right. There you go. Perfect timing. All right. Uh, but eventually, and kind of comically, he gets, as the war is going, he finally convinces the health review board or whatever of the RAF to bring him back on and to give him flight duty. And this only is happening because, you know, for a lot of people my age and younger, it's really hard to, unless you've read a lot of the firsthand accounts and made a legitimate study of some of that environment, to appreciate just how apocalyptic things felt at that time. There was no assurance or feeling that one way was right, that freedom or liberty or free market or any of that kind of stuff should win out over National Socialism or communism. At the time, Marx, I think it was still Marxist, not pure. As Stalin hadn't risen to power, and there was still a lot of post-war changes to come that would kind of change our Western thinking of some of those various systems. But again, all I'm not trying to get political or anything. At that time, no one, the result of the war wasn't preordained. Nobody really knew how things were going to turn out, and particularly for England, isolated after the disaster of the collapse of the Battle of the Blitz and the loss of France as an ally, as a really a viable nation. Come on. How are you going to shoot at me and not be open? This is dumb. I guess we're going to go up first. And I'll go out. Yeah, you're in big trouble. All right, we'll wait for this to go. So finally, they're like, well, I guess we need everybody, all hands on deck kind of situation. So they cleared this guy with no legs to return to duty, and he ended up becoming one of the aces, and really one of the great. I don't know, great. He certainly wasn't the very top of pilots, and he was actually captured at one point. And it's really just this celebration of how, whether it's through war or anything else, if you decide that you're not going to let a change in your life circumstances limit you, you can still do incredible things. And certainly it was a devastating change to him. He was not feeling like, oh, this is how my life was supposed to go. Now I've got this great opportunity to be an advocate for working through disability. No, he felt like his life was over when it happened, and persevered, and that's how you show character. It's not in the easy times, right? We've all heard that kind of stuff. You show character when all the chips are down and you're going the other way. Personally, at least, I think he did, and was a real inspiration to me as a kid. Um, about what, of course. Oh, you are a jerk, sir. Might as well have a snack while we're sitting up here on the ceiling. Okay, so we got that one done. That's still a. Is that the tower we already went into too? Not much in the way of treasure boxes. Not that that's why we're here. We got 4 shulkers. That's why we're here. Nope. Nope. We're going into the room, not out. They call me Six Gun Tex. Hi. So we'll get another end chest out of this, which is nice. Ooh, still got somebody somewhere. So anyhow, hear no evil, see no evil. Still very, because of the talent that the 2 actors brought, incredibly funny movie. Uh, but some of that may just be nostalgia as well. I remember it from my childhood as being incredible. Personally, I don't find it offensive, but I do think it would be stronger if you could. You'd have to find the right people to do it, and they would have to be already very oh very very prepared temperament wise to the kind of people that just do find laughing at themselves uh, as their own coping mechanism. And it's not my place to say if there would be members of the community that uh, would find that offensive and request that it wouldn't. In fact, I would imagine that in today's culture, there would certainly be outcries, and that's why even if you had incredibly talented and a blind and deaf actor, like, oh, sign me up! I love that movie as a kid. I want to do it. I think you'd still get resistance from any kind of studio because they would say somebody is gonna cry offense. They won't care that it's being done by blind and deaf people because one person's consideration that that's how I face and overcome the adversity. Another person is just going to say, well, that's not the way I feel, and how dare you, tell me that I'm not a victim, kind of deal. I don't know. I don't think it could be done in today's climate, where it would be well received. And frankly, I was too young at the time. I don't know if it was well received at the time, or if it got a lot of condemnation from the the blind and deaf communities, or or other groups that would be similarly associated. All right, so we've come up and gone out that way. We need to get back down because somewhere we need to go. Is it that way? Where's that next big tower? How did we miss that? Right? That, oh no, we need to get over to here. And then up in that one, maybe? That's the worst. You don't want him to teleport unless he just came in here somewhere. Stop teleporting. I imagine that was some back and forth shulker on shulker crowd. Whoa. Somebody somewhere is using a grinder. Hope that come through too clear for you guys. Stop teleporting. So now everything else is outside. Wonderful. Left down here. Wow. And I hope whatever's going on is necessary. I don't think you just. Good grief. I don't see anything. I don't see anything up there. Check back there. Oh, well, this is a disaster. We may call this one quick. guys. I don't want to listen to that. Most of this make an audience listen to that nonsense. Oh no, we got a hammering. Good. What do we got? Let's see if we can finish wherever this guy is. We'll go up to this base level. We'll pop around outside and see if we can take him down. Don't you want me? I'm so mortified by. I mean, it is what it is, right? This is not the end of the world. It's just poor timing. We'll wrap this one up quick. It'll be a short episode for all those people that were well, this is where we poked out and got shot at, right? Okay. Let me get that. Of course. This is why I don't like them when they teleport. It adds a whole bunch of searching time. It could be up on top. I've used grinders. I know what's going on there. Nobody. There we go. All right. Ow. All right. Now, if we can. Really? Did he drop a shell? That's the question now. See a block down there. I don't see a shell though. Oh. Come on. All right, that's everything. Let's call it quits. I'm gonna go go take a nice walk, stretch the legs, give some time for whatever's going on to get taken care of, so we don't have that going on. So yeah, we'll just be flexible and adapt. So I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for hanging out. We've got let's take a look here. Well, we got a moment. Up to 11. Very good. We got one more back at home. So yeah, we've definitely achieved our goal. getting a bunch of shelters, we've now got a pretty good supply that we'll be able to carry cargo around in, and hopefully not misplace or lose. So very good. Even in an abbreviated episode, we've doesn't use the U word. Unpossible? No. Umpire? Umbrella? Any of those may be the U word. Um, I just want to thank you guys all so much for tuning in. Apologies about the noise. We'll get back on again and get some more content out here when construction work is not ongoing around me. So you guys take care of yourselves and others around, and have a good, take a break like I am, unscheduled, unplanned. It should be a good adventure. I hope it's not raining out. It's still kind of threatening off and on, but it's fairly nice. So I'm gonna get back out there, and we'll be back to see you guys in a bit. For now, take care. Bye.